Making things out of wood is a lot of fun. Jimmy and his father are going to make a cabinet out of these two boards. It will be a simple cabinet. It will have two sides and 4 shelves. Father says they will use one board for the 2 sides and the other board for the 4 shelves. So the first thing to do is to cut one board into halves. Cut it into halves. Jimmy has been studying fractions in school, and they aren't too easy. What is 1/2 anyway? His father will be glad to explain. To get 1/2 of anything, you divide that thing into 2 equal parts. To get 1/2 of this board, Father measures the whole length, 8 feet. Since 8 divided by 2 is 4, each part will be 4 feet long. Now, when the board is cut into these 2 equal parts, each part is 1/2 of the board. Now Jimmy is beginning to get the idea. He's often used the expression 1/2, but now he realizes that 1/2 means 1 of 2 equal parts of something. This idea of equal parts is the important idea in fractions, as Jimmy learned. Now, to make the 4 shelves, Father will divide this board into 4 equal parts. And each part will be a fraction of the whole board. There are the 4 pieces, all equal parts of the original board. What fraction of the original board is each of these pieces? Well, let's see. When a board is divided into 2 equal parts, each part is 1/2, which we write as 1/2. So, when a thing is divided into 4 equal parts, each part must be 1 over how many? That's right, 1/4, or 1/4. Each of these pieces is 1/4 of the original board. The 1 tells us that we are talking about 1 of the equal parts. The 4 tells us that the whole board was divided into 4 equal parts. In any fraction, the number above the line tells how many equal parts are considered. The number below the line tells the total number of equal parts into which the whole thing was divided. We can divide anything into equal parts, or fractions. Take a ruler, for instance. Here the ruler is divided into 12 equal parts. Each part is, of course, 1/12 of the ruler. If we take 2 of the equal parts, we get the fraction 2/12. The 2 tells us that we are considering 2 of the equal parts. The 12 reminds us that the whole ruler was divided into 12 equal parts. And if we take 3 of those equal parts, we get what fraction? Of course, 3/12. You see, fractions, like other numbers, can be added together. Yes, anything can be divided into equal parts to make fractions. A board or a ruler, or this apple. And by the way, whenever you think of a fraction, like 1/2 of an apple, you should remember the whole apple from which it came. And 3/4 of a pie is simply 3 of the 4 equal parts that make up the whole pie. Now, while Jimmy was finding out about fractions by working with his father, Jeannie, a classmate, was learning about fractions by helping her sister make a birthday cake. Like Jimmy, she had to divide some things into equal parts. The recipe included various fractions of whole quantities. 1 1/2 cups of sugar, 2 1/4 cups of flour, 2/3 of a cup of milk. Jeannie's sister asked her to measure out the milk. This measuring cup has been marked off into 3 equal parts, so that anyone can measure out 1/3 or 2/3 of a cup. This is 1/3 of a cup. The recipe called for 2/3 of a cup, so Jeannie added another 1/3. This is 2/3 of a cup of milk. Let's remember exactly what this means. When we say 2/3 of a cup, let's think first of the whole, the full cup. This whole cup is divided into 3 equal parts. Each part is 1/3. Remember what the written symbol means? The 1 means that we are considering one of the equal parts, while the 3 means that the whole cup was divided into 3 equal parts. 2/3 means that we are taking two of the 3 equal parts of our whole cup. These two numbers in a fraction have names. The number above the line is called the numerator. Now everybody say it. Numerator. The number below the line is called the denominator. Say it. Denominator. No matter what fraction we have, these two names are always the same. The numerator, remember, tells how many of the equal parts we are thinking about. The denominator tells the total number of equal parts into which the whole thing was divided. Next morning, before Jimmy and Jeannie arrived at school, Freddie, another classmate, was dividing up a box of pencils. Freddie had promised Jimmy and Jeannie that he would share his new pencils with them. He wants to make sure that he divides the 12 pencils into 3 equal parts, so that Jimmy and Jeannie and he will get the same number. So he carefully puts them into 3 parts. Then he makes sure that the 3 parts are all equal. And they are. 4 pencils make up each equal part. But what happens when we divide a thing into equal parts? Of course, we get fractions. When Freddie has divided the whole group of pencils into 3 equal parts, each part is 1/3 of the total number of pencils. 4 pencils are 1/3 of all the pencils, and 8 pencils are 2/3 of all the pencils. And so we can divide any whole thing into equal parts, or fractions. And fractions, as Jimmy learned, can be a real help to us in making things and in solving problems which are apt to come up any day. Yes, understanding exactly what 1/4 is, or what 2/3 means, can bring wonderful results, as Jeannie could tell you. And even knowing what 1/3 of 12 pencils is can give a lot of satisfaction, as Freddie found out, because he wanted to make sure that he and his 2 classmates, Jeannie and Jimmy, would each get an equal share of them. There is much more to learn about fractions, but now, before he forgets, Freddie wants to write down something about fractions for today's lesson. And by the way, since Freddie now has a total of 4 pencils, when he uses 1 to write with, what fraction of all his pencils is he using? Of course, 1/4. You know, so you'll understand what Freddie is writing.